Hello and welcome to this episode of the Worship Band Builder Podcast, where we are working with you to lay the foundation for skillful worship. I'm Eric Roberts, and I'm joined by my lovely co-host, Emily Roberts.
Thank you, dear.
Like
Hello, all.
I should have been like that WWE announcer guy.
Oh, what if I were a WWE wrestler?
Okay, all right.
That would be fun.
Let's dive into that topic today, folks. What if my wife was a WWE wrestler?
I don't think I would have much of a chance of ever winning anything, considering my stature. I would probably look like the ant compared to the grasshopper. Like the.
But you could be the mad...
Israelites were worried about the Canaanites. That'd be me.
Yeah, but think about it. Mad redhead. You would just come out there, put on the red hair, and everybody would just be like, "I give, I'm out, I'm out."
My name could be Inferno.
Oh yeah, she could be Inferno. This is not
Tiny Inferno.
the tiny Inferno. I feel that, people. I tell you, I feel that. I leave my keys on the wrong table, I'm feeling the tiny Inferno. That's what I'm feeling.
All right, too much information.
All right, so let's take a look at what's happening today. This episode is about, I don't even know, I forgot what it's called. Take your reboot people, your worship team, okay? We are in the ending, hopefully, dear God, hopefully, the ending of the COVID crisis. Hopefully, we are coming close to the election, which is November 4th. And hopefully this thing will just go away. Okay, now you're like, this guy sounds like Donald Trump. All right, I'm not gonna worry about all that. But hopefully, wouldn't it be great if it just disappeared?
I am all for the COVID disappearing.
Let's have COVID disappear. Now,
I'm pro-COVID disappearance.
Yeah, and we're gonna talk about rebooting your worship team. Because, basically we've all been in this state of, we launched Foundations real close to when lockdown started. And then, so it was like worship band training for all the different instruments. But now you still train your worship team. You can still do all that because all of our stuff is online.
And but whatever is going on, God is still worthy of worship.
That's right. We can't give up. We can't stop. We've got to reboot as worship leaders. We've got to rethink. We've got to be... How can we fix this? How can we change this? Improve. Our church has done a ton. We started live streaming when COVID hit. So it wasn't until COVID was on us that we were like, we need to live stream, and we didn't have church. And that's what most churches do. And so before I get way into this, I want to show you something that I did with our church. So our church,
If you're watching on YouTube, if not, how can they see this?
Oh, if you're not watching on YouTube, if you're listening, just go to YouTube, go to worshiptheking.com and click on podcast, or go to YouTube channel and find this episode.
Well, this is also on the website, isn't it?
Yes, this is on the website right here. So this right here is, Emily, I did this new thing, and it's a whole streaming setup. Now, you know that Worship Band Builder has foundations, and one of them is audio tech, but we've added streaming to it. And I've also, this week, I added this amazing, and it's free right now, okay? So it might not always be free. This might always be free, but it might not. Get it while you can. This is a whole diagram of all of the setup of our church at Spring Hill. We went from nothing, okay, guys, nothing, and very little budget, very limited budget, because we had just moved into a new building. We went from nothing to streaming, okay? So you can take this diagram, and then also for you guys who are wanting to learn about Logic, I have my Logic Pro mix template, which some people are charging $500 for mix templates, okay? This is free. This is free. People, it's free. I'm not charging anything. Just go on there right now. It's $0. The basic Spring Hill Model #1 mix template, and it just kind of gets you the idea. The basic idea of this is you can do it on a budget, and this week we're doing a really cool webinar on this topic. I want you to be there.
Tell me this.
Yeah.
Why do they want your mix template?
Well, because number one, it's free. It's free mix template.
Because everybody loves something free. But no, what I want to know is is this template applicable to
Yeah.
Most general churches.
Well, I'll tell you what. The mixed template I was referring to that's $500 also requires $1,000 worth of extra plugins I was looking at it the other day. And so you're looking at a $1,500 investment if you want to get the template. And this is like supposedly the Bethel template, the songs they've really used on Bethel songs. That's fine. That's all going to be amazing if your church is going to drop out $1,500. But I made this template in like a couple weeks just because I used my brain power and all of the stuff that I know, and I said, let's just create this simple template, and it's for my church. So really what I think you guys should be doing, honestly, is creating your own mixed templates. This just is a very simple, basic one that can show you, oh, that's kind of what it looks like.
So this is a jumping off point.
Yeah, it's all stock plugins. There's nothing else you need. It's Logic, so if you have Logic, you can do that. So it's just a good thing. This episode is not about this. This was just a basic thing. I'll do a whole thing, I think today, but it'll be coming out all about my mix template and all about this awesome new thing that I made for you. It's all about live streaming. But my main announcement today was if you go to bundles on the website, okay, and you look down here at audio and live stream foundations. Now it includes audio and live stream foundations. So it's got the live stream there, and it's also got the audio. Okay, so it's everything. If you're struggling and you want to do more with your live stream, which I know you do, every church is rushing to that, I will help you in this foundation segment, and you can get a lot of my resources free. I think that you can use most of your own knowledge to create your own amazing mixed template, and I think you should, unless you have a ton of money to burn and you have all of those things and you can spend $1,500 on a mixed template. Still, personally, I believe that you can actually make one for your church that is really tight if you know what you're doing, and that's what I'm talking about. Check out the YouTube channel. And you will be able to tell everything about that. Now, today, because I can talk about this all day, okay? I can sit up here for like an hour and a half and talk about these templates and these diagrams. I mean, I did yesterday, a 45-minute live session, just sitting here talking about the diagram. But today we're talking about what is launching in October is Worship Leadership Foundations, okay? Now, I know you guys are probably on there like, oh my gosh, this guy is just on it. Like, what is wrong with this guy? He keeps coming up with all this stuff. And that's what she says all the time. Like, dude, chill out, right?
I do. I say, dude, chill out.
Dude, chill out. Look at the camera. Look in the camera and say, dude, chill out.
Dude, chill out. Pretty sure I have never said that to him.
Yeah. But Worship Leadership Foundations, it's been cooking for 9 years.
Is that right?
Yeah, 2011 is when we did Propel.
Okay.
Which is the foundational kind of thing of this. This is everything. So I'm going to go through this 9 weeks today. I'm going to tell you the 9 weeks now, and so you can sort of like, oh, this is exciting. Then you can, in the description, you can join. There's a beta group that joins for super discount. Okay, super discount when you join in the beta group. In other words, within the 9-week period, that's called beta group. That's the people who are going with me in it live, going through it each week, and then it's going to become its own foundational module that you can always access forever. Okay.
So this is foundations for worship leaders.
Worship leaders and worship leadership. Yeah, if you're a part of the worship leader team, you're a worship leader. It's not really about like how to sing and play a song. Okay, so let's go through it. 9 weeks. So here it is. You guys ready?
I'm ready. I can't wait.
She's ready for it. Week number 1 is vision. Okay, and it came from Ministry in Motion, which is what Propel was, and it's about the God-inspired circle.
Okay, well that sounds very cryptic.
It's in other words, and we're going to talk more about it. The God-inspired circle. We're going to envision, and then we're going to do it, and then we're going to I'm not going to tell the God-envision circle.
We don't have to give away all the details, but this is about casting a vision for your team, essentially.
And yourself. So you as a leader seeing the big picture, and then how we go around in a circle, how God inspires us around this circle that we keep coming back and refining. Because as a leader in my ministry, it's always been a refinement. It's never just happened like, I see this vision, and then I did it, and it was like, I'm great, now, write the check, and I'm going on vacation. It was an obsession, and the circle is about God giving you that vision, and then you doing something, and then it coming back around and, fixing it, continually getting it better. Week number 2. So we got to bust through these. Building your team. This is going to be about, and I don't have all the fancy names yet, okay? I might fancy eyes the names.
Oh, fancy eyes.
I might fancy eyes the names.
Another word for the Eric Roberts Dictionary.
Yeah. So auditions, the week number 2 is build your team. Build your team, band setups, and rotating teams or rotating people. So now we visioned some people. Now we're going to put together an infrastructure on how we're going to put those teams together, how we're going to do it. The methodologies, there's a couple different ways you can rotate teams, rotate people, create bands, and that's what we're talking about in week 2. And week 3, we're going to talk about auditions, okay, and skill batching.
Okay.
Now, you don't have to have
auditions are the thing that every worship leader dreads. Nobody wants to hurt anybody's feelings, and I get it. That's a hard position to be in.
But it's necessary, and auditions don't have to be hard, because when we in this week you're going to get, if you join this, okay, you're going to get skill sheets, core skill sheets. In other words, specific skills for each instrument. So you could be like, if they want to join, you're gonna be like, here, read these skills that are like the main things. They're like, oh no, I don't know how to play to a click. Sorry, I'll wait. So you can stop a lot of the silliness in your auditions up front, and we'll talk about that in the auditions week. Yeah, you can't just put people up like American Idol style and sit there and make fun of them, or sit there and shine lights on them and sit way back in the. I've had this happen to me. I'm not lying. I won't go into details about that here, but I've been in auditions that have felt really American Idol-ish, and it's like, this is weird. I thought we were at church. So you've got to be careful. I've also been in auditions where it's just me and the guy sitting in the office, like, hey, can you play this song? Yeah, and he plays it. I'm like, oh, it's good, and we're talking. And so there's different ways to do it. Auditions is not a dirty word. I mean, if you don't audition people, or if you don't have an entry point for people, they're never going to get involved. So that's, and that brings us to week number 4, which is training an army, okay, of musicians.
Ooh, that's what we need.
Yeah,
a bunch of them.
So we have foundations for every single instrument. Okay, so if you look at worshipbandbuilders.com and you go and you click on bundles, you're going to see on here, if you're on my website now, you'll see bass foundations, drums, audio and tech we talked about, electric guitar, acoustic and vocal, piano and theory. So you're going to see all of these instruments there, and we talk about how to implement this for your worship band, okay? How to basically get people involved and then implement training. Intentional training will grow your worship band, right?
Yes. And hopefully what we're offering in the foundations courses will make that very easy for you. That's what it is designed to do.
It's designed to build and train an entire army of musicians in your church. If you don't do that, you're always going to be can you read? Can you read that? I'm going to give her the next one. Read that.
Can I read that?
Reading test.
Let's get it a little bigger here. Planning and calendars.
That's it. That was good. Thank you. What was that? I don't know. That was the production. That was part of the build up, the production.
Spontaneous silliness.
Song selection, skill batching. Oh, rotating teams. Still, this is planning and calendar now. How do you plan out? Emily, how many weeks do you think you should plan out your worship bands?
The bands or the songs?
Let's say the bands.
The bands, well, I don't know, maybe like 3 months?
Yeah, about that. So let's start thinking long term. Let's start thinking in quarters. Let's start thinking in blocks of calendars. In other words, like every week you're not making up a new thing. You're making up 3 months at a time, and you're communicating this. This week we talk about how to plan, how to put calendars together, how to communicate it to people, how to keep it flexible but also really tight. And all of this matters. And I have everything for you, all the templates that I use. You don't even need Planning Center. You don't need anything, which you can use that, but you can use just basic templates that I have.
And this piece of it is really, it's for your team, but it's also for you. It will do so much for saving your stress levels.
No, it's all for you. All this is for you, because you get 3 or 4 months planned, and then you can literally just coast. I mean, your pastor he'll think you're in there in your office just working so hard, and you're like, I'm done. I got 3 months planned, man. I'm just sitting here watching YouTube. That's what you
Not
dream
that
of.
any of you are doing that.
Yeah, so I would literally plan 3 months on a Monday, the first part of the quarter, and then I would just float on that. Okay, but it helps everything. It's not just so you can watch YouTube. Okay, that's only part of it. All right, number 5. Week 5 is going to be digital tools for ministry. Now, yeah, since I did this 11 years ago, there are a ton of tools. I mean, there were tools back then too. We had the internet 11 years ago. Might have even had Google Docs back then. I think we had Song Select. We had all these, Worship Online. We're going to talk about all of my favorite tools that I use for you as a leader. Also tools that you can use to shame and make your people practice. Shame them into practicing. I don't know. There's no digital tool.
Right.
There's no digital tool to shame them. You just have to do that individually. Just take them in your office and say, Barry, really, man, did you even practice this month? You're just...
Stop it.
Okay.
Stop.
Shame them yourself, but the tools to help them practice are there beyond anything I had 11 years ago, really. There are some serious companies out now, literally just show everybody how to do everything, okay? And we have the tools here too, like these tools here. You can, if somebody wants to audition and you don't want to deal with teaching them every little thing, you can say, hey, you go through an audition, you go through guitar vocal foundations, then you can audition. So there's a lot of tools. We're going to talk about my favorite tools. Week 7, we're going to create, man, you guys, this is getting kind of long.
Well, you're
week
almost
7.
there.
All right, week 7. Now this is going to be 9 weeks, so don't worry, it won't feel all overwhelming. Creating successful song lists. Flow from your church. Format, keeping it simple. Standard week to week. Getting people on the same page. This is very key. Okay, the next week we're gonna talk. That's song. I think song lists, like how to make a worship set. That's what it is.
There we go.
Worship set. How to lead worship with 3 songs together. The next week though, we're gonna talk about your top 50. Okay, your top 50. How to build your song catalog. And then, and that's important. If you don't do this part right, your people are just going to be staring at you most of the time instead of worshiping with you. And I know that these things are very foundational. That's why it's Foundations for Worship Leadership. This, like I said, it isn't about playing the guitar. We have plenty of stuff for that. And then week number 9 is going to be a bonus, clicks, tracks, and production. So a little beyond, it's going to be a little bit more like the technical tools of why would you run a click? How do you simply start using a click? How do you use tracks? Why would you use tracks? What are you going to do if you're going to do tracks? How to get your band members to get on board with you, because that's hard. How to get your drummer to play to a click track. That's mostly just, put his arm behind his back, like grab him, stick it up here like this, and just twist it until he says, I'll do it. And then say, all right, play to a click track. So those tips will be in there as well. Now Emily will be in this. I don't know if she knows all this because it's all mostly up in here. She'll be on these sessions. What this will be, the format. You want to know the format?
Oh, please enlighten me.
Do you know the format?
I don't think I do.
Okay, so the format of the Foundations is going to be phenomenal. Number 1, it's going to be a podcast every Tuesday. So that's going to be with me and Emily, just like this. And then on the next day, there will either be a webinar, a live webinar with me that dives much deeper. Okay. And then the next day after that, there will be a live YouTube session, probably with just me, or with one of my friends, or something like that.
Could you go to one of the 3? Do you need to be at all 3?
They'll be overlapping and diving deeper. So the first podcast, it'll be a little more surface. And then the next day when we go into the webinar section, that's going to be a little bit more like on the screen. I'll be able to show you my screen. I'll be diving into like the charts. I'll be diving into the technical stuff. I'll show you all that stuff. And then the next day I might just answer questions on the live session on YouTube. But you don't have to come to all 3. That's the great thing about this is after every piece of content is made, after we do the live session, it goes onto the podcast. After we do the webinar, it goes into an archive, and you'll have access to that forever. Okay, so you can just go through one a week, and then you can go back and go through others. You can dive deeper, whatever you want. It's going to be a lot, but this is important. So if you think it's important and you want to succeed, and you feel like I gotta reboot, I gotta figure out what's next, I gotta get beyond where I'm at, then this is going to be for you. And it could take you longer than 9 weeks if you wanted to just go back and read it. But yeah, so that makes sense?
Yes. It sounds to me like you could also, are you putting a list on the website so that they can see the topics ahead of time?
Yeah, actually, by tonight, hopefully we'll have the whole page done where you can enroll. So by the time you're hearing this podcast, you will be able to enroll. Go to the page, worshipbandbuilder.com/leadership, and you'll see all of the lists and a way to enroll in the beta, which saves you a ton of money. Trust me, enroll in the beta if you think you're going to do this. It will save you money and it will save you time. It won't save you any time, but it'll save you money.
Well, you'll just get to the good stuff sooner.
Exactly. And then, so you'll have a list, and then this whole thing will be set up just like our foundation segments in an online course format. So there will actually be a course page where you can get all of the topics, so you can click on each thing. So like in week 1, you could click on the podcast, the YouTube session, or the webinar, and you can kind of go back to it.
So if they want to go back and review anything, they can choose any one of those 9 topics.
So if you've ever done anything on our website, you'll be able to see, and maybe I can pull it up here. You'll be able to see this is like once it's done, it will be as it's being done, and once it's done, it will be in a format that you can actually go right to it, and it's like an online course. Okay, so let me pull one of these up. So let's say fretboard memory. This is one of our new courses, fretboard memory. And it says I've done 0 complete. There's me playing the electric guitar, but here's what fretboard memory is. The course content is all of this, welcome, and then the bonus sessions are this. So your course will have like week 1, it'll have each part of week 1, like the webinar, that, then it'll have like week 2, and it'll have every section. So when you click on a section, it'll take you to the actual either video or download or webinar or live stream. It'll take you to the archives, which is basically what this does. So it takes you to this, it gives you all that. So it will be set up like an online course once it's all finished. It'll be very interactive going through it with me. And if you're listening to this like 2 years from now, just go take it as the online course, and it'll be amazing. Okay, that's all I have for today. And you have anything else to say about this? Are you ready for it?
I am ready. I am so ready.
Okay, we're ready. So starting next week in October, it'll be all podcasts for 9 weeks based on worship leadership, the core values and the things that we've done that have caused us to have success where we've been in charge of having to be a worship leader. One of my friends said it would make something for somebody came and said, "Hey, our worship leader left. It's your turn. You got to lead worship." So it will be foundational. If you're in the ministry for 20 years, or if you just started yesterday, like I've got to be a worship leader, take this course, take this foundational segment, because we're giving you like the roadmap to success, foundational success. And if you do the right things, with everything, if you do the right things on the foundation, all of a sudden they're like, man, that guy's a pro. He's just every week it's like so smooth. What's happening? That guy's doing amazing. So it's just going to happen for you, but you will do the foundational things well, and everything else will build into great success. So that's what we pray for you to happen. Thanks for stopping by, watching the podcast. Make sure you go to worshipbandbuilder.com and subscribe. There's a song happening now.
So, why do you keep acting like they're